Hi, this is Ed again. So, working on Victoria's ring, and we're going to do a little bit of sanding. I've got some 320, 400, 600, and that should be enough for me to get a good clean up surface on it. This is going to take a little bit. Want to get the bezel good. You want to get around the rope edge or the bird's nest real good. You don't want to do too much on the ring itself because it's been hammered, and every time you sand something, it will take metal away. So you don't want to sand away the indentations made, the pinging from the hammer. Now I'll use one of my cutting tools, and I'll wrap this around, get the inside. So I haven't tried the stone yet to see if the stone's going to fit. A lot of times when you're working with the ring and you're soldering the mandrel, that the oval or the oblong ellipse shape that is necessary for the stone can get altered a little bit. So when I tried to fit it in there, I don't know if it's in there all the way. Maybe I got in there wrong. Rotate it around. this a flat end. No, that's not right. Yeah, that's it. That's how it's going to fit. Okay, so it's going to wrap around like that. I made the bezel curvy and uneven. And when we wrap it around, it'll show this kind of meandering line that goes around the inside of the stone, or the outside of the stone. Let me continue sanding. Stone fits. Good. One of the things I noticed in the videos, I hadn't done a video like this ever. This is my first time, so sort of new to it. I hope I get better, more comfortable with the video aspect. The amount of videos, or the number of videos that I made, and probably I'm thinking 40 maybe, that I've been sharing with you. And so the stitching them all together and bringing them all together is going to give me kind of an idea of how long it actually takes me to build a ring or a piece of jewelry of some sort. I've always kind of wondered, because of my asking price for rings and stuff like that, sometimes can be a little concerning to me, whether I'm overcharging or undercharging or something like that. So if I know how much time I actually do spend on a piece of ring, I could probably rationalize in my mind how much pieces of jewelry are worth. As people that know me, my profession is pricing, or setting prices for products. I work for a large company, and I'm the guy that sets the prices for all the products and approves the pricing going out to major customers. So pricing and the costing of these products, I mean, I know how to do it, and I am pricing on my products, but it is up until now that I've done this video that I actually realize and capture all the amount of work that goes into making a simple ring. I mean, for me, it was just kind of intuitive. I'd just go ahead and create the piece and not even worried about it. Just step from one step to the next, to the next, to the next. But when I'm pausing and doing videos and setting up, staging things and stuff, it kind of throws a light on how long it actually takes me to do this, and all the various steps that I take for granted, or others would essentially take for granted. So I'm going to move on to the next grit, 400, and go back through it again. As I sand the bird's nest, as it's referred to, the gold begins to pop out in contrast with the silver. You'll start to see where the gold and silver are where they kind of blend together in some areas during this where the braided wire uh, kind of wrapped itself around and made different shapes on it, and it really looks really unique. I haven't done one like this in a long time. So I mean, I've done the gold and silver braided wire, but to do thin wire like this in multiple strands, it's a little bit different. Okay, so again, I don't want to do too much on the outside. I may come back later prior to setting the stone and hit the outside, ping it up a little bit more. So those that don't know, when I got out of high school, I started to go to college, Cerritos College. Those that know me know of Cerritos College in the city of Norwalk in California, and they had a really nice fine arts department, a really good department for crafts and ceramics and jewelry and stuff like that. And that's how I really got introduced to fabrication of jewelry. And then I went to Cal State Long Beach, and I was in their metalsmith and jewelry program, where, and this, gosh, this goes back to the early 70s. So when we think about it, I mean, I've been doing jewelry for close to 50 years, I guess, right? Yeah, close to 50 years. I've been working with metal and silver and jewelry, and it hasn't been just very recently. And I'm thinking within the last 10 years where I started doing lapidary. In the past, I would always buy my rocks and gems and stones and stuff that I would mount and put into pieces of jewelry. I'd buy them from others at a rock and gem store, or in my travels around. You always see a place that has a rock shop, or where they sell custom jewelry, and they'll have stones there, and I'd see something like, oh, I could do something with this, right? And then I realized that I was paying others for pieces of gems or cabochons and such, that I realized I could make myself if I had the right equipment. And that's the key, is having the right equipment. Here in Edmonds, Washington, where I live, we have a facility. It's called the Maplewood Rock and Gem Club, and I'm a member of there, and that's really how I got introduced to it. I thought, wow, this is really neat. They had a lapidary lab. They had some old style equipment with the silicon carbide type wheels, and then I got introduced to the diamond wheels from one of my colleagues that was at the Rock and Gem Club. And he says, hey, Ed, look what I can do. Look what I'm doing. This is really good. He had a different brand, so I did some research, and I ended up with my Cab Kings. And I thought, wow, this is really, really, really good. I bought one of them. And then I earned some money, saved some money from selling pieces of jewelry and stuff. All my jewelry that I sell, I normally don't take, a salary or profit from it. I reinvest that money into buying more equipment. And so now we have the Donaka Images Jewelry and Lapidary Arts Studio, and that's where I'm at right now. And we are, I think, fully functional. We can cut large rocks into slabs, and then cut the slabs into small pieces, and then I can grind the small pieces into cabochons and other pieces of jewelry. Okay, so I'm going to go now to 600. Let me get the inside first. You know, I got 10,000 grit sandpaper and 1,200 grit sandpaper. I normally don't ever use them. I don't find myself using them. I kind of, once I hit 600, I go, that's good enough. And for silver work, that usually is pretty good, because once I start to polish and I start to do the tumbling, I'll tumble it and stuff for a couple hours. It really does a good job for me. So I kind of abandoned going, sanding. I'm not really. This is probably the most tedious part of all the processes. I do enjoy making pieces of jewelry. I do enjoy the soldering and the working. I mean, when cutting and grinding in stone, you're doing something that essentially is like a sport that you're doing all by yourself, or you're it's a self one person activity, right? There's nobody around you. There's nobody. You're sitting here, maybe I'll put my headphones and I'll listen to music. But it is exceptionally relaxing. I find that it is it can be for me a form of meditation, to take my mind off of other things that are happening either around the world or with family members or with myself. And so it does ease my mind by doing rock grinding, rock cutting, and rock shaping, and rock polishing. That works for me, right? Okay, so I think I've got it pretty much inside. What I want to do next is to, if we look inside, you can see that some of the solder has kind of laid itself over on top of the surface of the seat. And what I don't want to do is have that solder interfere with the seating of the stone itself. So I got some tools that we could use. Take this off. These are my Fordham flexible shaft tools. I got two of them. There's because I kind of rotate between different bits. Oh yeah, it's a lot better. I could tell because it kind of snapped down into the ring. So here's the base ring right now. The next step is to I'm gonna do a little tumbling. Maybe I'll hit it with the ping a little bit more. one thing you'll notice is that I don't have a lot of workspace here, and that was intentional. But I do have a place for everything, especially my tools, so that when I need it, I know where it's at, and when it's not there, then I can go hunting looking for it. I use little magnets on this little KitchenAid thing that I kind of jury rigged. That I put these little magnets that hold my tools. Let me see. I got a burnisher. Different tools in here, and I've got places where I can put all my cutting tools, my files, scissors, tweezers, pliers, burnishers, measuring tools, and pencils, pins, other things, more files. I got drawer saws, and I like cutting silver, but the thing that you probably can recognize on this ring here, that I didn't use my drawer saw for any of the pieces. And normally you would cut the little seat, you'd cut out the pieces for the ring. So I have narrowed it down to be as efficient as I can, and try to make sure that the pieces are being completed, or I utilize processes that are probably more efficient than sawing, cutting, and that kind of stuff. So we'll go to the next step. Next step is to polish it in the tumbler. I'll show you. Okay, so this tumble barrel is filled with sterling silver, not silver, stainless steel beads and different types of shapes and stuff that will bead around the metal and give it a burnishing effect to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some soap. We know soap cuts the surface tension off of metal and others, and then I'm going to put the piece in. Here's the finished piece. Well, not finished, almost finished. The ring, and I'm going to drop it in there. Close her up. And let it tumble. I'm thinking about an hour or so. What do you think? So we'll get back with you after that.